My name is Duncalf Brown. I'm a filmmaker, writer, director. I was the director of this project, The Signal, which is a short film that we were commissioned to do. The project is based on the Londa Report 2024 version, so that's what we were interpreting into a visual. The Signal, other than it being a title, it's a symbolic perspective of the times we are in. We are signaling that we are in a very murky type of situation, and so we need to urgently do something, and so the times are like giving us a signal to change the course of things, but it's also literally a signal that is missing in particular regions and places within the context of the report.
Scene 6, shot 1, take 1.
Hi, my name is Yvonne. I play Amina in this movie. Amina is a young woman in tech. She's from the northeastern part of Kenya. And she's gone out of her way to develop an app that can help save the lives of people in the rural community. We are talking about the northeastern, where a place where maybe a hospital is like 20 kilometers away. And imagine someone is already having an emergency. They need maybe first aid before they can be taken to the hospital and stuff like that. The problem is most of the apps that are being made are dependent on the internet. And at some point in the movie, because of politics and a lot of things that were happening in the movie, the policymakers decide they're going to switch off the internet. And because of that, her father's life is in danger, because she has to use, communicate with the doctor and also the people on the ground using the internet. And suddenly just everything goes black, everything just goes dark. And internet is like healthcare. You can't decide to just close hospitals,
So by my name I'm Edwin Onkoba, and I was the story developer and the co-producer of The Signal. When it comes to the story development, there are key elements that we look at which help in getting a good story out there. These key elements include the plot of the story, the character arc, and then the theme of your story, and then the structure. So from our story here, being guided by the Londa report, which is the Londa 2024 report, we decided to settle on two key themes, which include internet shutdown and digital inequalities. I wanted to have a character who does not even relate directly to the internet, but at the end of the day, he will suffer because of internet issues. That's when I thought of Mzee Juma.
My name's Frank Kimani. I'm an actor. I'm there, that means an old man, and I'm so happy and humbled to be among the cast on this wonderful cinema that is The Signal. Signal is a script that is deprecating the issue of internet and whatever, the communication kind of. Because like in my part as Juma, that's my part, that's my role. Juma is sick, and his sickness is life-threatening, whereby if he doesn't get immediate medical concern, he might even go.
There's panic, there's conflict, there's tensions. As long as you have the emotions high and high stakes, the audience is glued and they are watching for either Mzee Juma, they are watching for Amina, or they are watching for whoever they feel they are watching for in the film. When you have high stakes in such a film, then you create tension and you create emotions.
So doing the protest thing, it was very fun. I really loved it. Having the larger crowd, the sound, the environment. It was very interesting. How we approached it, we had a very locked-in plan for the scene. So we knew what we wanted. We know the shot is going to be on screen for around 10 seconds, 30 seconds at most. So we had a very pre-scheduled shoot. So we didn't have a lot of challenges. We had soft lights from the clouds. We had very nice compositions with the streets and the buildings that were around. Yeah, so a lot of work was put in the pre-production to find this location. I took a lot of time to prepare, to do some research about the locations, the lighting, the framings, the composition. How I can push the story with movements, lights, and composition. We worked very close with the director to make sure that we push the visuals, to make sure that the story is told to every demographic.
The Paradigm Shift organization, of course, cuts across different countries in Africa. And so we needed to cater for that demographic. People from different parts of the regions where they operate need to own and be part of that story. That is why it was very important for us to cast certain people who look certain way, who dress in a certain way, so that different people can see themselves in these characters. What draws you to a story is if you see someone who does and feels like you do. If they speak your language, or if they go through your struggles, or if they experience your joys, you will connect with them. Emotions are what drives the story. The story has to be a human story, and humans are about emotions. Language might be different. You might be watching an Asian movie, a movie of a language that you don't even understand. But if the emotion sits right, you will understand the story, because that is what connects human beings. It's not about what someone is saying, it's about what they make you feel.
So in the village setting, how we approached lighting, our initial idea, what we thought when we chose the location, and also when we did Reke, it was all about a dry place, a place that is full of thorns, cactuses, and very flat areas. But when we went to shoot,
rain is one of the terrible things that can happen to sound. Winds, we have something to handle that. For example, that place was quite windy, but we have wind filters that we use on the boom mic. So that had no issue, wind. But for the rain, when it started raining, we had to stop the shooting actually. Wait it out and pray that everything works out. And I'm glad that everything worked out well. The rain stopped and it actually dried up a bit. So we were able to still continue with the shoot without any lapses.
We used the dark nimbus clouds and the vast landscapes to show the isolation of Kendi and the lack of help. We went with a very dim, dramatic lighting for the home.
If you get to read the script, you would actually even want to debate that Kendi is more of a main character than Amina, because Amina, yes, is the bearer of the story, but Kendi is the one who executes the story more. She's the one who's fighting the struggles that Amina should have been fighting in the village. And so it was very important for us to get a very strong character who would embody that role and carry the weight on our shoulders.
As people, we all have a right to access information, and one of the ways we are accessing information now is through the internet. But then if we have a right to do that, but then the government can decide one morning to just, switch off the internet, how is it even a right? If it can just be, people can just, trample upon that whenever they want.
I'm calling upon those who are going to watch the movie to really understand the implication of the movie and the way it affects our daily lives. Policymakers just look at it in a very, very sober manner.
So this is a wake-up call to the app developers, because app developers out there, they create awesome apps, but these awesome apps majorly consider the people who are living in the urban areas. A very sensitive app like a healthcare app, you need to consider also the person who is walking 10 kilometers or 20 kilometers to the next health center.
In matters of digital, and let me also add tech, I feel like it's a thing that the young people are moving with, but in reality, it affects across all ages. So whether you are 50s, 60s, 80s, or whether you're 13 or 5 years or 6 years, I feel like digital inclusion and digital literacy is not included in all these ages. By the time you get to watch this film, I'm sure you'll be excited and get to know what I'm talking about, but it's a film that nobody would want to miss, because I'm excited to do this.